said this is episode 5 with interest.
With interest.
Gotcha. And we are at 38 seconds. We skipped the recap.
Yep.
Ready to go?
Yep.
Awesome. On 1, 3, 2, 1, go.
Oh, cool. We got the intro. Skip the intro.
Skipping intro. I'm on 208.
Yep. I'm just glad they didn't go with like the standard Irish song you hear in like everything.
Shipping up to Boston. On Dropkick Murphys.
Yep. I mean, I don't know if this one's typical. I've never heard this one. It's usually Dropkick Murphys. Yusuf. I don't care. He's a treasure.
I do like seeing.
I was wondering how he was going to be in this show. I heard he was going to be in this show, so I was wondering how they were going to do it.
I forgot he was a banker.
Yeah, same. Some friends.
Wink.
Maybe a Cassie Lang. He is so proud of her. Always got to be the.
Oh yeah, forgot to preface. Second time seeing this episode.
Oh yeah.
I'll see Luca, the 1.8 million.
It's got to be an Irish person doing a bank robbery on St. Patrick's Day. I have AT&T. How often do you think bank robberies happen in like real life? Because movies and TV shows make it seem like it's like a weekly occurrence. It's kind of like a trope.
Depends on the type of robbery you're referring to.
Something like this.
like high stakes, like hostages and stuff like that. So I'll tell you this much. The financial industry will do everything they can to make sure that that sort of news isn't broadcast as long as they can. One, to keep it under wraps, to try to find the people in case something happens, and two, to, let's be honest, to save face. But yes,
they want you to still give them your money. Like,
yeah, yes.
Like, hey, your money is still secure here. We just got robbed 4 times last month, but we assure you. Yeah, I imagine most robberies are more like fraud or something, like someone pretending to be someone else. Or
yeah, the fraud, I will say, is super rampant. Especially with the text messaging is the new thing right now. The phishing. I know a lot of people are getting the
was it the toll roads?
The one for the toll roads, yes.
Yep.
The toll roads one.
And they kind of target the older people too, because
yeah, they target everyone though. That's the thing, is that the big misconception is that it's just the older people.
Well, they're the ones that are more likely to believe it.
Surprisingly, no. It's actually a lot of young people too, and it's because
they're Gen
the
Z.
fraudsters, they prey on people's sense of urgency, meaning that when you're caught up doing something, that's usually when they attack, and then you're just gonna be like, oh yeah, just autopilot.
So the trick is,
before you know it,
target the people that have so much going, or don't you me, I have so much going on where I ignore everything for like a whole week, and I'm just by the time I get to it, I'm just like, eh.
Yeah,
And
pretty
unfortunately,
much. Yeah, that's
that
and that's what they target.
that includes regular text messages too.
That is true. So yeah, if you get a text message you don't know, delete it.
No,
You get a
oh
phone
yeah,
call you don't know, let it go to
straight to
voicemail. You
spam.
don't have to answer every single call. If it's
Yep,
important, they'll leave a voicemail.
straight to spam.
Mhm.
I recently just watched Novocaine, so it's like bank robbery, is kind of bleeding over onto which one was which.
I'm not gonna lie, kind of rather talk about that than this.
Well, we know you're Irish.
Are they? Or is he just putting on an accent? I forgot about that. It makes me laugh because it sounds like it sounded like Shorzy. What I tell you?
See, I'm not gonna lie. When he walked into the bank, I was like, I completely forgot. Like we've seen him before in the previous episodes, and the hierarchy of the five families.
Yeah, he was in the first episode, right? At the
He was
meeting.
also the one that, if I remember right, he was the one that shot the guy in that truck, right? The beginning of like
Oh,
episode
he
two
was
or
right.
three, right?
Was he?
I believe he
Oh,
was the one. Yeah,
been a minute.
yeah. They were like driving that. I don't know if it was an armored car or like a cargo van or something. But I think that's just like a missed opportunity. And I mean, we can talk more about that later into the run because I really wish they would have explored more of the five families. The entire time I kept thinking he was calling him Sir Listener. I keep forgetting it's Solicitor. He just looks like a G.I. Joe to me. Look up
And
the
no one
G.I.
is
Joe.
half the battle, Robert.
Yeah. Just look up the G.I. Joe Beachhead. I think Ray Stevenson played Beachhead. Or did he play Firefly?
Ray Stevenson,
Yeah,
R.I.P.
I know. Actually, I'm going to look that up because I can't remember.
Mm-hmm.
He was Firefly. Oh, I forgot Elodie Young was in that movie. And speaking of like Shorzy and Letterkenny, that's the only reason why I know who Mark Messier is.
Because of Schwarzy. What would have happened if someone had said yes?
Yeah, right. Of course, it's the one with the red mask.
I was just thinking that.
It's like the quietest fight ever.
Mm-hmm.
But I do like the kind of the fight choreography of it for because he knows he can't make a sound.
It's also the first fight we've had all season. Like this. So,
Pretty much.
where it's
At least
actually semi creative.
like what, probably since the first episode.
Yeah.
No, yeah, unless you count White Tiger, but just in the brief subway. Oh, I guess in the apartment with the cops.
Yeah, it was more of a beat down than a fight.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
This one was a little bit more of a fight. Jesus.
Because you radioed him first. You think they're trying to set up Matt to be like a mentor to all these younger? I don't know.
Do you want me to tell you right now what I think?
Just seems like what was it?
Because I'm really biting my tongue.
Angela was it? Is it Angela White Tiger? And with him and Spider Man, the brief little thing with in Spider Man. I don't know. We do need more Kamala though. Looks like a young Colin Farrell.
Oh, right here, yeah. I see it. Looks like a phone booth. Colin
Yep.
Farrell.
He said he made out of 4.
Mm-hmm.
Why was he trying 383?
Yep. Like I said, bite my tongue. Bite my tongue.
The Soul Stone. Now a paperweight. Such a long countdown.
Mm-hmm. Got to give it time for the exposition. 59, 58.
Right?
Put the cane down. Put the cane down.
He's resisting.
He looks like Brightburn.
Yeah. That's a little rusty. Oh, that was a lot. I would watch a Marvel special about them at his family's house having dinner. That was for sure one of the best parts of the Miss Marvel show. Was that family dynamic?
Oh yeah, in the first episode alone. Love
Just
the first episode of Miss Marvel.
just have different episodes of Matt meeting everybody's family. We had She Hulk and now the Kamalas, the Khans. Let's just do that. He can go have dinner with Hawkeye on the farm, and then Kate Bishop. He's the Nick Fury recruiting all the young Avengers there.
Why is this blind guy here in my kitchen?
That was episode 5. With interest.
Yes, it
So
was.
thoughts?
So the first time I watched this, I thought this was the worst episode of the season.
Yeah.
Yeah. And while I don't think it's is the worst, I think it's still one of the worst episodes of the season.
See, I'm on the opposite. I actually liked it. I think it's the one of the best episodes of the season. I don't like the placement of it because we just concluded the previous episode with the reveal of Muse, and then we have this episode, and then like I just don't like the I kind of like episodes where it's just like a one-off episode sometimes, but it's got to be strategically done, and I don't think this was strategically placed in the season. But I do like, the beginning, middle, of end of the episode. I mean, I felt like they probably could have added more for the payoff because we don't know what happened to that girl. We still don't know what happened to that girl. I don't even think we've seen Devlin since. So I don't
And
think
that
there was a true conclusion to it other than him returning the diamond.
and that is why.
Yeah,
That is exactly why what you just said at the beginning
yeah,
about it's a one off.
yeah,
It's with how okay. So we've talked about it over the last few episodes about the one cohesiveness of what's actually going on with the story. It's all over the place. There's no consistency. The stuff that they're setting up, they either haven't paid off, or if they have tied up something, it's been like that, like just real
yeah,
quick, get it done with. Like, okay, moving on to the next thing. And nothing's been satisfying. Nothing's been like has hooked me to where I'm like, oh yeah, like oh man, like I'm holding on, for the next episode. It's actually quite the opposite. I'm actually dreading the next episode and so on and so forth, just because it's like it's been so unsatisfyingly bad. With this episode, this literally felt like the Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special. Like that is the feeling and spirit that I got from this. Is it does nothing to impact the story whatsoever. It gives like a slight nod to those original crews from the first episode that Vanessa was working with,
yeah,
and that's not what we need right now. That's not what the show needs right now, especially for episode 5, when you're only going to have 9 or 10 episodes to wrap this up. This is an episode that you drop in between, waiting between seasons.
yeah,
Like had we got this like maybe around like Thanksgiving or something like that, like to hold us over until the
Yeah,
next season, then
like
yeah,
depending on how the season ends, of course. Like if it ends like on a happier note, right? You can drop this. Like I don't know. I get what you're saying though, right? Yeah.
yeah. Well, hell, I mean, like I said, look at how Guardians ended, Volume 2 and Volume 3, just like with everything, and they still found a way to put like that
Mhm.
Christmas one in there in between everything, and it still gave it like, if we're gonna take that route.
Yeah.
But so a couple of issues I had with this one. Yusuf was so freaking annoying in this
You thought?
episode to me. Yeah,
I
he
mean,
was
thought it
yeah,
was.
he was annoying and not like so in Miss Marvel in the show, he's the goofy dad.
Mm,
And it's funny because he's making the dad jokes, he's having those conversations with her like when she hurts his feelings when he dresses
yeah.
up like the
Yeah. The
Hulk.
whole. Yeah.
And then afterwards when they find out about her powers, they have the conversation and stuff like that. So they have those moments where it's like, oh, okay, this is really good. But like the stuff he does in this episode, like annoyed me to my core. The thing about the opening the vault was ridiculous. As an assistant manager,
I don't think he was the
his
assistant manager though. I think he made that
well, no,
right
like
off.
even if he wasn't, the procedure would be give the robbers whatever they want,
Yeah.
give them what they want. Like
Hmm.
that's the procedure. It's like you don't argue with someone robbing. It's either going to be insured or there's things in place. But his role, especially as a representative of that establishment, is not to put the patrons in harm.
Hmm.
The people coming in there, it's get them in, get them out. That's what he's supposed to do. Like I said, this is by far the cheesiest episode. The most ham-fisted when it came to the fan service. Um, and it didn't even feel like it was like a natural fan service thing. It was like, oh hey, here's a crumb. Here's a crumb, guys. Here's a crumb. I know you've been waiting, 5 episodes, but here's a couple more crumbs, just a little bit right here, a little bit more, a little bit more. And I I wanted to like it. I wanted to, especially as a fan, but it just felt like like I said, it felt unearned. It felt like everything that we've seen so far, it hasn't been earned yet to be like, oh, you know what, that's good. That was a good joke. That was great. The Irish accent, dude. Like I never realized until this go around how much he sounded like Justin Theroux from Charlie's Angels Full Throttle.
I don't remember that
You and your
movie.
friends are gonna know about pain. um but yeah, between that, when Matt's trying to open the safe and Yusuf's like, oh, like talking over, like, dude, like, shut up, just let him do his thing. um the piggy bank line with Kamala was out of nowhere. It was like, okay, we get it, Kamala Khan, yes, her dad, yes, Kamala, they're in the MCU, we get it. Like, it was just, he had to drop Kamala's name like every 5 seconds. And I get it, if he's talking about his daughter and stuff like that. But let's be honest. I mean, that's what it was. It was just fan service.
He's a proud papa.
Um, the detective was annoying too with the fake gruff. He just played like just stereotype.
Hmm.
I'm a rough cop around the edges, stuff like that. The joke scene was weird. Goes from does anyone know a joke, then proceeds to tell one. The safety deposit box, I'm so glad you pointed that out, because that was something I noticed the first go around too. I was like, he says right then and there it's a 4, and
Four.
then proceeds to, let me go around to
Yeah,
all of
yeah,
these, and then one that isn't even a 4 in there, we just say it's like 382 or something like
yeah.
that.
I mean, I get being like nervous or something like that, but
Yeah, it's those little
like dropping
attentions
the,
to,
we get it when he drops the key, right? That we get that he's nervous there. Like you could just
yeah.
move on. Like why would you? I mean, I don't know where. I
Or
don't
at
really
least
know.
show it, like,
Yeah,
he's nervous, but they don't. He's like having a full conversation with Matt, while they're
yeah.
doing it, and it's like, it takes me out of it. And then the when he said we're almost out, you're gonna see your daughter again, sounded like as soon as they got up or like 5 seconds after they opened that, Yusuf was either gonna take one in the head or he was about to be shot. Then again, because like I said, it's a fan service episode, I didn't see them doing that.
No, of course not.
Especially like this was like I said, this just feels one off. It
Yeah.
feels so cartoony.
Oh, 100%.
It honestly felt like the Daredevil we saw in She-Hulk. This did not feel
Oh,
like
this was for
Netflix
sure.
Daredevil. This didn't even feel like the Daredevil we've seen in the last few episodes. This
I
just
think
felt so left field, bizarre Twilight Zone.
so. I think this
Daredevil.
was probably one of the only un possibly untouched episodes from the rewrites. Like I don't know what the extent of it is, but
Oof.
remember when?
Oof.
So here's the thing.
Oof.
Remember when Daredevil was announced? It was 18 episodes.
Yeah.
I honestly think it was mostly going to be him doing lawyer stuff. Like they even said that he wasn't even going to be Daredevil until like halfway through. He wasn't even going to.
They've
That
been honest about that
conversation,
so far.
that conversation with the Kingpin in the first episode was supposed to happen in like episode 6. Like it was. Like I honestly think it was supposed to be more like a legal drama, him just doing case, like maybe a 1 or 2 episode case by case. So I think we were supposed to get a lot of one-off episodes. And I think this is probably the only surviving one that was probably it might add some touch-ups here and there to like maybe add a line or two of dialogue to like make it a cohesive to from whatever. But I think this was the only one that was probably left untouched. And again, I as an one-off episode, like if we were getting an 18 episode season, like I don't know, like a regular ABC, CBS show like CSI or NCIS, this would have been fine. Like if it came out week to week, because you can't just tell. Like I mean, what most seasons are like what 20 episodes, 22 episodes of a
Yeah.
drama, and you have those one-off episodes. Fine, but
Yes.
if you're only gonna do like 10 episodes, like we've been like with streaming now, it has to be. I mean, yes, you can still have this, but you can't have a 40-minute episode and it just be that. Like there has to be, and that's where I can probably, and I will when we get to the end, and we can even go over after the finale. Is this could have been a great episode had it focused more on Devlin, the 5 families. You build them up, and again, I will go in and critique because as this episode happened, I was like, okay, this is a cool episode. Had this been the only episode I got, I probably would have been a little, disjointed, right? Because I would have been like, well, we ended with Muse, then we got this, and I got to wait another week for a possibility of Muse, but are we actually going to get Muse?
See
So
right
I'm
there.
glad they did 2 episodes. Again, I don't mind the episode. I just don't like the placement of it. But again,
Fair enough.
once we get to the end, because I want to see how it ends first, right?
Oh God.
Like
If this
episode
is a
9.
precursor.
No, no, no. Like I want to. Like I just have my. I
But
have my.
if this is like a taste of
See, I think
what's to
season
come with
two.
the season
I
finale.
think season 2 will be better, just because
Oh God, I hope
again,
so.
everything that it got, the show got kind of overhauled, right? And I think the people that overhauled the show is now staying. So I think a lot of this is from the previous. So that's probably why it's a little, because the guys that took over was the ones that did the Punisher, I believe, right? I think they did Punisher on Netflix.
I don't know, but I
Maybe
know the
Moon Knight
guys
as
right
well.
now. I know the guys that are doing it right now are the ones that did Moon Knight, which
Okay.
again, not a good thing
I
either, not
see.
a bad thing,
I
but
liked
it's
Moon
like
Knight up until like the end.
yeah.
I
Well, I
thought Moon
mean,
Knight was I thought Moon Knight was that level of crazy in the kind of the beginning, and then it just fell off. Like I don't know.
well, well, yeah, because I mean, and we've talked about it before on one of the previous episodes. Is Moon Knight was literally shot like you can watch it literally as a movie, and all they did was just
Yep.
here's a cut into the episode, here's a cut into the
Yeah.
episode, and it's honestly the same kind of vibe that I'm getting with Daredevil so far. It's just
But
but
I
it
think that's
seems more
just
like with season 2, like you said, if if they're on board from season 2, the one thing I want them to take away from season 1 of this is learn from your mistakes.
Hmm.
Learn from your mistakes and please give us a better product. Give us a better show that is worthy of the fans, worthy of the character, because right now they are failing both. They
Yeah.
are failing the fans and the characters. Like I said, I don't look forward to watching these anymore. Like like hope is not all lost. I
Yeah.
still need something to watch. But but I don't, you know what I mean? Like I'm not excited. I'm not, like, oh man, yeah, the next episode of Daredevil's coming on. Like I'm pumped. Let's see what's gonna happen. They left it on a cliffhanger. Let's see how it concludes. But it's just like,
I'm just
and,
wondering.
and my optimism is just running out for this.
I'm just wondering how much better this would have been if they just dropped it all at once. Like, because even if you, so that's the thing. Like, Netflix will drop all their stuff
That's a
at
good question.
once, and
Yeah.
even then, like, okay, yeah, you can go back and watch that Daredevil show. And like, yeah, okay, it can still kind of feel like a 13-hour long movie, right? That's just cut up. But they dropped it all at once, so you can watch everything. So it's like you don't get that break. That because if you're gonna drop it weekly, to me, I want my episodes to be beginning, middle, end. All right, and then yes, setup. Next episode, beginning, middle, end, setup. If I'm watching everything all at once, I don't need the. It could just be a straight, you know, flat out 13-hour movie.
Yeah.
But I don't know. But yeah,
So
once we get to the end, I'll have my, how if I was this guy on the internet, if I was like controlling this narratively, what
a
I think
Kevin
I would have,
Feige.
yeah, like how I would have, as a fan of the Daredevil and like the comics and how I would have constructed this season. Again, it's just my opinion, but and that's just
Yeah.
because we're getting to what are we on episode 8, or this coming one is episode 9, right? So I mean I've
Yeah,
seen all the way
this
through
is
episode
where
8,
we're down to
so
the line, dude. It's like,
I can
bottom.
I can be like, I mean, I'll save it. I'll save it when we're done because I mean, like, I'm enjoying it, but man, maybe my standards were just high because, I mean, again, Netflix
Well,
shows are
it's
so good.
not just that, dude. Your standards were high because of what we were promised,
Yeah.
and the promise has not been kept.
Nope.
Like I said, they are failing the fans. They are failing. They're failing the cast. I mean, who fought hard that were like, no, like we
Yeah.
need to go back to the drawing board and do this. And to answer your question, about if you think it was better if they had just dropped it all at once, um, I spent most of the day editing the previous videos and stuff, so I got a chance to go back and listen. So it was like, watching the episodes back to back to back, and I can tell you, no,
No.
like how they dropped it all at once, no, like it's still just it. Like I said in the very first episode, it's either going to be something where we're going to get like a really good story, or it's going to be like Lost, where they're going to be setting up all these little breadcrumbs and all these little trails, and are they ever going to pay off?
Yeah.
And if they do, is it going to be something satisfactory, or is it going to be something where it's like, okay, we just got to get it done and get out? To where
No.
this could be like the first couple of seasons of Game of Thrones, or this can be the last season of Game of Thrones. And right now, it's feeling like the latter.
Yeah. Because I'm
And
pretty sure that, like this episode and then the White Tiger stuff is probably for sure the bits and pieces that survived. Which I mean, the White Tiger stuff was great,
yeah,
but I
I
mean,
honestly
it's
think
not a
it
it's
happened
not a
too early.
Daredevil, right? It's not a
Yeah,
Daredevil. It was just more Matt Murdock. But I don't know.
yeah.
You gotta have that balance. But I don't know. We'll see. We'll see.
The last thing I wanted to say, the last thing I wanted to mention was the fight scene. Um, the fight scene was unearned. We waited again. We waited all season for it. We waited for, like Matt to come out as Daredevil, like the fighting. The fighting is there. The fight is good. I'm not saying the fight is bad.
The one
What
with him
I'm
and
saying
Devlin.
is
or
Yes,
just in
at the
okay?
end. Yeah, right at the end. It was unearned because we waited all season for it and they used this episode to
Yeah,
showcase that. Which again, it's a one-off episode. You don't do that in your one-off. This is the thing that you build up to all season. Like this is like Matt's hearing the call, he's hearing that
yeah,
call, he's hearing it like I'm fighting the temptations, my demons and all this stuff to give back in. It's like when was it season 3 when he goes out and he goes dressed up and he's just getting beat up and he
yep.
just keeps getting back up and they keep punching him down
Because
like
his powers
that.
haven't fully came back yet, so he takes a beating.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
like it's like that happens like at a certain point in the story where it's like, oh man, and you feel it. And it's like this. It's like, finally this is the point where he's like, okay, I'm answering the call to arms. Let me, go take this guy out and stuff like that. And like I said, it's just had it been any other episode, it would have been good. But the fact that they put it to tail
yeah,
end this one just shows that they said this is our fan service episode. We're gonna give you everything MCU. We're gonna give you everything you've wanted from the Daredevil episodes, all of the fighting, all of the cool stuff that y'all have been asking and begging us for. You're gonna get it in this.
yeah.
Everything else, no.
Yeah, also again leads me to believe that this episode wasn't
Yeah,
supposed to be episode 5 in the 18 episode
yeah.
original run. Like this was probably going to be like episode 8 or 9 or whatever. You
And like I said, to circle it back to what I said at the beginning, this is why I think this is may not be the worst episode, but it's one of the worst episodes so far, just based off of that,
Yeah,
off of the fact of what they are choosing to do, how they chose to go about presenting this.
yeah. I
So
think overall, I mean, obviously this
yeah,
season, this it could have done like I like it as a standalone, but again, it doesn't add anything to the season, and
what
both
do
can
you
be
rate it
true.
out of 10?
Well,
What do
as a
you rate it out of 10?
standalone episode, I'd probably give
Yeah,
it as an 8, but to
in the season.
overall to the, I mean, it's not needed. It's an incomplete. We don't need it. It wasn't a needed episode.
Incomplete out of 10.
Yeah, it wasn't like, yes, I love Yusuf Khan. I mean, again,
Come
had
on,
we,
give it a
I
rating.
mean,
Give it a
it's
rating. You
not
know you
needed.
want to.
It's not
Give it a
needed.
rating. It
I mean,
is. It's
like a
part of this is their choice
yeah,
to
yeah, but
include
like
this in the
if we're telling
season.
an overall season, an overall
Exactly.
narrative
Yeah.
for a thing, then I mean, it
Yes.
adds nothing to it. So it's probably like a 2.
So 2 out of
Like
10.
it does nothing
Yeah.
for it. But
So 2 out of
but
10, Robert.
had
Ouch.
it had it been like maybe more from the perspective, again, I will get into it later on, but had it get from the perspective of like Devlin and the Irish gang of the five families or whatever. I don't even know who the five families
I
are.
don't know. We just keep telling. We just keep
I'm just
saying.
assuming he's part of the five families. But again, if you had that from their perspective on, hey, what's their motive? Why are they robbing a bank? Yeah, I mean, what is this diamond worth? What's this? I mean, what is it for? Like, if that might have been a little different because that could have been building up more towards a Vanessa Queenpin story. I don't know. Again, I'll get into that later. But yeah, I mean, this episode wasn't needed for the overall narrative.
But
Standalone
you said
episode, I liked it for the whole season. This could have been an 8-episode season, or yeah.
fair enough.
And that was my big criticism for like Iron Fist. Like most of that was just you could have cut like 4 episodes out of that whole first season.
See, that would have been like a mini series. That would have
Yeah,
been you're like
that should
give
have
us
been like
6
6
episodes.
episodes. Yeah,
So as far as this episode, if we're gonna go out of 10 like we've been doing so far, I was actually gonna give it like a 3 or 4.
yeah,
So like I said, not the absolute worst because there were things I like. Of course,
yeah,
I'm not gonna sit here and say like no, I didn't enjoy it. There were things I enjoyed, but if I'm looking at it just strictly as the narrative, what we've been given and where we're headed, that's where it sits for me. Fan service, like I said, we could have dropped it. This could have been the holdover that keeps us, fed until season 2. But yeah, It's
I mean, it is what it's
um,
like I said. I enjoyed it as an overall episode. Like if I was, if it was, if we were all getting one-off episodes, then yeah, this was fine. But if you're telling an overall narrative, like it's not needed, in my opinion, because I don't even think they touch up on it later.
dude, the one thing you can change in the episode is just change the holiday to Christmas, put them in Santa suits, and it's literally a one-off. I
Yeah,
mean, they're halfway there. It's St. Patty's Day and they're dressed,
I mean, the only other thing I learned
for
from
it.
this episode is they're trying to expand their law firm.
Yeah, expand the law firm.
Yeah, and we know next to nothing about his law partner.
We know she's overworked and she's pissed.
Yes,
We know that much,
as
but
someone who works with Matt Murdock always are. Yes.
yeah, understandable. All right. Well, hey, that's been episode 5. I guess we'll see what happens in episode 6. Anything
Yep.
else you want to touch on for 5?
No, now we can move on to episode 6.
Sounds good to me.